What does that number mean to you? I mean, just in terms of sort of taking stock of the long journey that you've been on now, really going back from being a player in the 80s to where you are today.
Two things. It means I'm old, and there's also a lot of losses, and I'm glad they don't print those. But
Um,
no, it's you know, uh, I've obviously coached a few years in the American League, and the success that you have as a coach is a lot of times attributed to, actually most of the times attributed to having good players, and I've been very fortunate here. We have had uh, some really good teams here. We've had some team. My first year was probably the toughest year up till last year. Um, the first year, I think it was just even before I got the job, we knew it was going to be a difficult situation because there weren't a lot of draft picks. I think that at that time there were probably only 6 draft picks that were in the lineup, and with the exception of last year, we had all the injuries. We've had some fun teams to coach, and players that really have made us as coaches look good.
as a young player, you went through some really interesting times. You went your first year in Fredericton, then second year in Baltimore. The team wins 13 games. You go through that experience. What are some of the things that you tried to take from your playing days into your coaching days and carry with you all the way through to now?
Um, well, I know, and I've actually had this conversation not about me, but trying to impress upon players that um, it's not a sprint to get to the NHL, but there has to be some understanding too that you can't wait forever to try to get there. And I think every day, if you're putting forth your best effort and doing everything you need to do to get better, then you're going to give yourself the best opportunity. I think some players, they don't realize that the NHL teams, they continue to draft after they drafted you, and they're not going to wait forever. So you have to have, some urgency to how you prepare and work. And, to tie that into with my situation, when after my first 2 years, I went down to the East Coast League, and the East Coast League wasn't even it was over. And, it was at that point where I said, what I was doing wasn't working, and I'm just going to have fun and work hard and see where it takes me. And that was really the turning point of my career, because I don't think at that time it was even a thought process that I might get into coaching after playing. And had I not had that approach, I wouldn't have been back with Quebec the following year and playing for their farm team and get my first start in the NHL after, pretty much a year after I'd been sent to the East Coast League. So, my race was, it took me 4 years to get the NHL, and it was a process. And I don't think it really could have been done any other way than the way that it happened. I didn't play on great teams, so I had to find ways my first 2 years to get better. And those experiences allowed me to figure out ways to get better, and forced me to have to get better. And the end result is I'm here today.
What was your first inkling as a player that you thought maybe I want to become a coach? Maybe this is something for me.
I was with the Olympic team, and we were playing over in right before the Olympics, and the coaches came in and gave it to the one of the players pretty bad, pretty hard. And I had Keith Kachuk was actually the player. He came up to me, and he was only 19 years old at the time. And he said to me, "Hey, go talk to him. He's really rattled." And I sit there and I'm like, I really, I was in a situation where he had seen me all year do that, and I really wasn't paying attention to that particular situation. But that was it was something that after it was said and done, and I went over and talked to the player, I kind of sat back and I thought about that, and people, you don't know when people are watching or paying attention. And here's a 19-year-old kid out of college, uh, first freshman in college, and left school early to play on the Olympic team. And he's taking notice of contributions that I'm making that have nothing to do with stopping the puck. And so, at that point, like there's an element of leadership that you either do it or you don't do it, and sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. And my experience and being an older player on the team was just something that had kind of developed as the years went on. And I can tell you, my first exhibition game after coming from college, where I think our longest road trip was up to Maine. It was 4 hours, and we played 2 games, and that was it. Everything was under 2 hours. Sleep in your own bed. And I looked, we were going to play an exhibition game in Halifax and Fredericton. I was trying to figure out how long it was going to take us there. And I'd worked out the mileage to be an hour and a half. And after about an hour and a half, I'm like, we're still not there. And then I redid the math on the trip, and it was going to be another, I think, 3 hours. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, we're driving 4.5 hours, not knowing anything about the American Hockey League, to play an exhibition game. We've got to drive that distance. And I was like, and at that point, it was so clear, like it happened yesterday. I looked at the coach and I said to myself, that poor guy, I can't believe he's riding buses and coaching in the American Hockey League. And why would you want to do that? And then I'm like, is he, like, what kind of money is he making doing this? Like, it can't be great money. And I'm thinking, well, I'm glad I got my degree, and when I'm done playing hockey, at least I got my degree to fall back on, and I won't be riding buses. And it's obviously you get to appreciate the pro game, and it's not for everybody, but there came a point where when I had the opportunity to get into coaching, I loved it. So being around the players and trying to get them better. It started when I was finishing my playing career, whether it was working with extra guys, setting up drills for myself that helped them. And then the natural transition into the position when I got the job.